everybody, it's Ann, and I am back today to talk about a few books with you. So, I've been a little obsessed with this series, and this is what we're going to talk about today because I'm a little obsessed. So, I have been reading the Charles Todd series, the Inspector Ian Rutledge Mystery Series. Now, this is the third one, Search the Dark. I've enjoyed the three that I've read so far, and there are quite a few more. In fact, one just published, so it's a good time to get into the series because there's still new ones coming out. The main character, Inspector Rutledge, is a World War I veteran who returns to his role as a detective with Scotland Yard. However, he is essentially haunted by his experiences in France in trench warfare. And the mysteries are good, the character is interesting, and I really recommend this series. If you like mysteries without gore, these are for you. It's not that there isn't, tension. There's plenty of tension. It's just not particularly explicit. It's a series I've really enjoyed, and I think I have the next one on the way already. So reading that got me reinterested in reading about World War I. Now, I've got a couple older novels here that were written about the time of World War I. And that can be a really interesting way to study, kind of the whole picture of what was going on in an era, is to read fiction that was written around that time. So the first one is The Return of the Soldier by Rebecca West. And you can see my bookmark. I'm not all that far into this one. I've made a respectable bit of progress, I think. But okay, I'm going to read you a little bit from the back, just to it'll sum it up more succinctly than I can. Captain Chris Baldry returns home from the Great War a victim of shell shock amnesia, the last 15 years obliterated from his mind. He has no recollection of his wife, Kitty, a cold moonlight beauty who is entirely devoted to creating a perfectly arranged life at their exquisite home, Baldry Court. He remembers his devoted cousin Jenny only as a childhood playmate. Instead, Chris desires to resume an affair with his first love, Margaret Allington, an innkeeper's daughter and now a shabby suburban matron. Something that the introduction notes is that even though amnesia sounds like kind of a hackneyed plot twist, it was actually a somewhat common symptom from shell shock. So this book was published in 1918, which is right about the time the war ended, and I feel especially fancy and grateful because someone at the Central Library had to go to the lower stacks to get this for me, so thank you, library team member. I appreciate it. Now, the next book I have to talk about is Fear, a novel of World War I by Gabrielle Chevalier. And I'm very sorry if I've mispronounced that. My French teacher, Madame, would be appalled. So this book I have not read yet, but it looks very interesting. It's another fiction book published in, first published in France in 1930. And just a little bit from the back. 1915, Jean Dartmount heads off to the Great War, an eager conscript. The only thing he fears is missing the action. Soon, however, the vaunted war to end all wars seems like a war that will never end. Whether mired in the trenches or going over the top, Jean finds himself caught in the midst of an unimaginable, unceasing slaughter. After he is wounded, he returns from the front to discover a world where no one knows or wants to know any of this. Both the public and the authorities go on talking about heroes and sending more men to their graves. But Jean refuses to keep silent. He will speak the forbidden word. He will tell them about fear. So again, it's one of those contemporary novels written by someone who was there experiencing the war themselves. So my final book that I want to mention is a nonfiction book, and it's called Eye Deep in Hell, Trench Warfare in World War I by John Ellis. Now this was a book that my husband had lying around. He is a history nerd. Aren't we all? But this book gives you a glimpse into what trench warfare was like and the horrors that entailed. I had to keep setting this book down while I was reading it because it was awful. So, good book, horrifying subject. So that's what I have to talk about today. I do also want to mention one other book that's coming out soon, To Storm Wood by Philip Gray. And this is another fiction book. It's a thriller about a woman looking for her husband in France after World War I ends. And that one's coming soon, so you want to get your holds placed on that one. So, that's all I have to talk about today. Not the world's happiest topic, but should make for some interesting reading. And thanks for joining me to talk about books today, or to listen to me talk about books today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.